Imagine your perfect Tuesday morning, some exercise, a coffee, learning something new, and some time spent working on your life's purpose and your mission. Lunch rolls around, you eat at one of your favorite places in the world with some of your favorite people, then you spend a little bit more time working on things that you care about. Then you take your dog out on an afternoon walk just because you can before entering an evening where you get to go out into your community. And for me, that's pickleball, and for you, that could be something else, but you eat dinner, again, with people you care about, and that is your day. Now, let me ask you a question. In that scenario, in that dream day that you just imagined, are you an employee or are you a CEO and entrepreneur? We used to live in a world where entrepreneurship looked like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, and Bill Gates. They built these enormous corporations that employ thousands of people and are housed in enormous office buildings. And at the same time, to work a job, you needed to be physically in that location. You had to go in, you had to hit your time card, sit at a cubicle all day, and then clock out. And that was life. And to be fair, it didn't really feel like a choice, because when the choice is a cubicle or a coal mine, well, maybe not even a coal mine, but some kind of hard physical labor, it's not really an option. And that all changed when we entered into the internet era. We no longer needed to build enormous companies with an on-site presence. The rise of Russell Brunson, who's like the king of internet marketing and internet entrepreneurship, entered the scene. And if you've been interested in running a company remotely, you know what's possible. First, it was blogs and affiliate links. Then it was drop shipping and Amazon FBA. Then it was courses and then coaching. And now it's communities. I swear everyone and their brother has a community. And I'm aware I've fallen into this category. I've been in communities. I've tried to start communities. Alex Hormozy, I'm looking at you. School is communities. I'm trying to start a business just like people who might be watching this. But as internet businesses changed everything, that perfect Tuesday I described above was only really possible as an internet entrepreneur. And at one point, I actually left a job I really liked because it wasn't offering remote and it wasn't an option. And I wanted to relocate to be closer to friends and family and to push my living expenses down and just to change things up. Then all of a sudden, 2020 hit, and I'm sure you know what happened because everything changed. Companies traded forcing you to go into an office every day to forcing you to stay home. And it's crazy because for the first time that I can remember, my dream day that I described in the beginning was now possible as a 9-to-5 employee, not as a CEO or founder. And to be clear, I still want to start my own company one day. I still want to be a founder, and that's been my dream for as long as I can remember, since I was a kid. But why on earth would I put my life on hold until then? Financial freedom is great, FIRE is great, FI is great, but freedom in the 9-to-5 is even better. But that leaves us with the question of how do you build freedom in the 9-to-5? And there are 5 different pillars that I think if we focus on can help us get autonomy in our 9-to-5 as we build freedom in the 5-to-9. And if you want to do this, this is what that looks like. So first is time autonomy. CEOs have the gift of building their own schedule. They create their day to spend time on the things that are the highest value activities and the things that they care about. Inside the 9-to-5, this looks like core hours with some flexibility outside of that. So for me, I try to always be online from 10 to 12 and from 1 to 3. I'm online for meetings and I try to schedule things during those times to help people. But outside of that, I try to keep things flexible. Sometimes I start at 7, other times I start at 9, sometimes I work through lunch and finish at 3, other times I'm working until 6. I have the flexibility to build my day around the way that serves me and my family while it also serves the business. And that's something I want to be clear about. You don't have to pick one. You can have both. You can have a career that serves the company and that serves you at the same time. The second big factor is place autonomy. One of the beautiful things about the rise of the internet is the ability to work from anywhere. And since the rise of Starlink, I literally mean anywhere. It used to be reserved for internet entrepreneurs. And if you're on Instagram, I'm sure you've seen people working from beaches and mountains with their laptop with a pretty view. You've maybe heard about digital nomads working from Asia where they don't have to make that much money, but they can live like kings because of the exchange rate. But if you're just remote, you can do what I do. I get to visit my sister who lives in Seattle for about a week each year. And I work the entire time that I'm there without taking any vacation. I get to go visit my friend in Colorado and work the whole time I'm there. I get to go see my wife's family and work while we're there. It means that I don't have to take days off in order to see family. I get to take days off to go on vacation. It unlocks the world and gives me a chance to go and explore. And even if you can't be fully remote, getting 1 or 2 days, you can extend your weekends and really make travel possible. I think, to me, this isn't for everyone, but to me, this is a huge unlock. The next one is energy protection and purpose. So one of the great things about entrepreneurs is they're able to do work that gives them energy and gives them purpose, and they can feel like they're following their mission. And as a business owner and CEO, you have the ability to hire out tasks that you hate. Email assistant, calendar assistant, sales team, engineering team. These are things that exist for a purpose. And we don't get as much flexibility as 9-to-5ers because obviously other people are telling us what to do and we're reliant on others. But if you work for a company that's worth its weight in salt and you have a manager that's decent, then they're going to try to put you on work that you actually care about and gives you energy, because odds are you're going to perform better if you're doing that. And if you're struggling, you've got to go and try to find the good in your job. Because how does hating your job serve your purpose? And that's a good question to ask, is how does my job, how does this task serve my purpose? I work with companies that are huge and we save them money, of course, but I don't really care about that. I mean, I do because it pays the bills, but we're also reducing fuel use. We're helping with sustainability. We're making an impact on the way that they work on a day-to-day and the impact that they have on the environment. And so is it the most amazing thing in the world all the time? No. Is it my passion? Like, is supply chain and logistics my passion? No. But is it good for society? Absolutely. Is it useful? Yes. I mean, since COVID, the supply chain game has changed because people realize how fragile supply chains really are. And because of that, I can work and feel good about it while I also build stuff on my own, like this video you're watching, or the LifeOS newsletter, or my financial coaching business. And I get the privilege to do that. But if I didn't protect my energy and I fell into bad habits, then I wouldn't have the capacity to do both. I would be burnt out and struggling to do either one. So you've got to protect your energy. Next is financial autonomy and automation. I think that's really important. So financial freedom inside your 9-to-5 doesn't mean millions of dollars in the bank always. It can, but it doesn't always. But it means designing your money system so that your paycheck works for you, your savings and your investments are automated, and you're not worrying about your bills week to week. So I use something I like to call the payday plus one method, where the day after I get paid, everything moves automatically and I'm starting to acquire assets. So I don't have to worry about my needs being met, my wants being met, my savings, my investments. All of that stuff is automated. And this creates the space for me to say yes to things that I value and no to things that I don't. And I don't have to stress about every dollar because I've built a buffer, an emergency fund. So I'm not chained to every paycheck and in fear of something going wrong. Now, do I need paychecks? Yes, but if I lost my job, I could survive quite a while without one. And when your money runs automatically in the background, you can reclaim this freedom with every deposit. Every paycheck moves you closer towards financial independence, helping you acquire assets, helping you buy your time back. And speaking of time, that brings me to one of my favorite topics, and one that is, I would say, reserved for the 9-to-5ers, but it's vacation engineering. So this one's fun because most people think vacation is just what HR allows. But CEOs can design their calendars And you can too. You can stretch your PTO by sticking it with weekends and holidays. You can take a Friday and a Monday off, and suddenly you've got a 4-day trip that feels like a real getaway. And if you combine remote work with PTO, you can work from a new city for a few days and then stay a few days off, and then suddenly your 2 weeks of vacation becomes 4 weeks or 6 weeks or maybe even more. I know my European colleagues take 5 weeks off in a row. So it's not about tricking the system, it's about designing your breaks with the same creativity that entrepreneurs use to design their lives. This is something I've tried to get really good at over the last few years, and it lets my wife and I travel a lot. And I want to be clear here. Just with these 5 pillars, I'm not telling you to stop chasing your dreams of entrepreneurship and to settle into a 9-to-5. I'm not telling you to give up on FI or even FIRE if you're trying to retire extremely young. What I'm telling you is you don't have to wait to enjoy life today while you're building life for tomorrow. I think one of the big problems is that we, as a society, measure success by money alone. And I heard Sean Puri on the My First Million podcast the other day talking about time billionaires and how people who have billions of dollars would trade billions of dollars overnight in order to get back a decade of their lives or a billion seconds of time. And I think it's really important that we remember that, because all the things I talked about today, they're really optimized to get your time back. And I want you to get the most out of your life today and in the future. I want to get the most out of my life today and in the future. And to do that, you need to realize that you can live your dream life today while you're in your 9-to-5 as you build freedom in your 5-to-9. And you're constantly going towards the goal. Because at the end of the day, when we look back at our lives, we're going to look at the journey, not at the destination. And so one day when you step into entrepreneurship or financial independence, you'll realize you've been living free all along because you were able to build the life that you wanted in the place that you were.